First of all, Undertale is best experienced blind, and while this video will be spoiler free, I recommend playing it first. Okay, so today we are going to talk about a game that you might know. Of course you do. It is in the title of the video, Einstein. Undertale. Now I am going to go ahead and spoil the whole review for you. I love Undertale. In fact, it is in my top 5 games of all time, and I have some unpopular opinions too. Now, Undertale seemed to be the best starting place for my YouTube channel with an uncertain future. So, as we know, most of you have already played Undertale and you have to check if everybody's opinion is just identical to yours. If it isn't, they are the most dumbest and most despicable creatures to exist. Now the thing is, I think there is no such thing as objectivity. So please do not act like a mad monkey if I try to have an opinion, please. Okay, anyways, let us get started, shall we? Undertale is a 2015 turn-based but also action WRPG, but not really because it is a JRPG game created by Toby Fox and Tammy Chen along with some of the Kickstarters. Now I'm not gonna bore you with the details of development. We all know Toby did most of the coding, story and battle design, while Tammy did most sprites and contributed a bit with every aspect. We should jump right into the real meat of the game and look at what the game is trying to do and if it excels at it, shall we? First things first, I do not think the story of Undertale is really the greatest thing ever penned. And before you come with the rakes, by that I mean it is more of a character-driven story rather than a plot-driven one. And I'd be lying if I said that Undertale didn't have my second favorite cast of characters in any game ever. But are they perfect? No. Some common complaints I have heard that the characters are mostly one-note, one-dimensional tropey characters which do not have any significant growth even at the end of the game. My opinion is somewhat similar to this, but there are certain things that I think makes Undertale's cast so good. First of all, I do not think they are all tropey. I mean, you could go worse than the cast of Undertale. I really wanna talk about them in detail, but I'm gonna try and avoid spoilers. But I think talking about Alphys, my favorite character, could be considered non-spoiler. Because even I think that most, and I mean most characters are one note. You know, the antagonist of Undertale not so much. Anyways, Alphys is introduced to us as the royal scientist everyone has been talking about. Now at first glance, she is the annoying character with crippling anxiety. I love the fact that the sprite work inside the dialogue box shows her sweating while we talk, a visual representation of how nervous she is. We talk to her, explore her house, take her number, play Who Wants to Be the Millionaire with the bloodthirsty ghost robot and then leave. But as you explore and solve puzzles, Alphys will repeatedly call you, trying to help you but feeling in extremely awkward situations until she stops calling you. During these talks, she talks about some anime which I will be planning to review in future. Some kinds of cat girls, but she is afraid of herself as she fears everybody will judge her on her romantic choices and her love for Japanese cat girls. Now we all love them, do not act like you don't. I know. The be yourself lesson is something overdone to the point that killing it would release it out of the agony it is going through. But the way it is presented, especially the sprite work, are incredible. Throughout the game, you make her understand that she is not as so bad after all. Well, at least if you do true pacifist, or else you just force her into suicide. By the way, I did not complete genocide, and it was totally not because I got attached to some sprites with pre-written lines. All in all, Undertale's cast may be a bit one note, but you can go much wrong when regarding tropes. And plus, the humor they provide is impeccable. What a great segue. Undertale's humor is like if GLaDOS tried to make jokes at a kid party as a part of a science experiment. It will be lighthearted, but the deadpan will not go away. Some people do not like the randomness of it, and it is true that 50% of Undertale's major humor is doing random stuff, but it all comes down to taste at the end of the day. But the other 50% is the real highlight, mostly some kind of awkward dialogue or character interaction. Undyne's true pacifist interaction is still one of the most fun I have had in any game ever. Sometimes the humor is child friendly, sometimes the humor is not humor but a straight up death threat given by arguably the most popular character of Undertale. As we all know, drum rolls please. Mad Dummy. Undertale's humor is also inspired by the former cult hit, now one of the most popular game in eShop, Earthbound. And spoiler warning too, I did not enjoy it. And you know what? Mad Dummy's music is also great. Segue to music. Like, go listen to it. In fact, do not, as the gut punch will be reduced if you do so. Tracks like Fallen Down, Finale, Asgore, and Metal Crushers are pure masterpieces. But unlike most, I do have complaints with the music. While in game at your first playthrough, the music is absolutely perfect. Though if you take music as a separate entity from the game, it is very samey with mostly low pitch sound. This is due to a maybe a bit excessive amount of leitmotifs. Though I'm just nitpicking, and if the music is looked upon as a part of the game, it is a masterpiece. Undertale is one of my favorite, if not my favorite atmosphere in a game, and it is mostly due to the music. And plus, who doesn't enjoy the song that might play when you fight Sans? That was the name of the song. One of the more criticized part of the game is the graphics. Some thinking it downright sucks so hard that it makes the game unplayable. I think the opposite. The graphics and sprites are charming as hell. Obligatory Doom reference. For example, imagine Undertale with the really good and detailed graphics of Chrono Trigger, or the bland and lifeless realistic graphics of GTA V. Would it have worked? No. I just want to say to Demi that she does not discourage herself, because she is as talented as one could be. In fact, I recommend you to play her own RPG Maker games. From what I know, she has two right now, and they are really good even if they are short. What about the gameplay then, you might ask? Or you might not if you are Jeff. We do not like you, Jeff. The gameplay is simple. You adopt into a Dragon Quest style turn based combat screen with act replacing magic, and instead of having a 90% chance of hitting the target enemy, you play a timing mini game which is completely pointless. I do think that the game would have not changed much without this, but it keeps the player engagement high, unlike most turn based or even action combat of spam the A button. Then when it is the enemy's turn, they attack you and you are out in a literal bullet hell and not given a 10% chance of evasion. It is based upon your skills and your skills only. It may not be revolutionary, but it is innovative and very fun. I wanted to fight all the monsters just to see their attacks, or alternatively, you can spare them, creating an actual good moral choice rather than the completely obvious choice of kill the little sisters because you are a maniac or save them because you are the good guy. Though the major endings are still very black and white, and I would have liked it if it delved more into the grey area, useless in neutral or pacifist route, as the game mostly works like a really easy ARPG. But I think it redeems itself by making Genocide a completely different game with new and harder bosses, like the popular, and I mean really popular, you know who I mean. Second drum rolls please. Undying the Undying. Yeah, the bosses are also pretty cool in how they could make you feel bad or like a monster if you kill them, with extremely interesting dialogues and gimmicks of their own. In fact, Neutral Final Boss is my favorite boss in any game ever. Sheesh, Undertale is really high up in my list. Plus, the three major routes are extremely different and or have additional content that the other routes do not have, making Undertale probably the most engaging turn-based game I've ever played, besides Chrono Trigger of course. And when all of this works in conjunction, it creates one of the most believable and lively world I've ever seen in any game ever. Unlike most games, you do not feel like the center of the universe. You are just a scared kid or a psychotic murderer, and the world could exist without you. So, is Undertale recommended by me? Yes, of course. Did you even listen to me or just skip ahead to see the final scores? I'm confirming that the final score is not my exact representation of my thoughts, nor it is some kind of complicated system based on which I calculate it. It is just a rough estimation of what I think the game deserves, and Undertale is a solid 9.5 out of 10. Almost perfect, highly recommended, and overall a hugely satisfying experience. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to subscribe my channel because I'm next going to review another game I love, Portal 1. Or you could comment me which game you would like to hear a spoiler filled review about. Until then, do not forget to eat your salad. Now the part where I abruptly end the review because I'm an amateur. Bye!